So just 10 seconds, if we could just take a little moment to remember all of that. Thank you. We're here in solidarity with a lot of queer, trans, Black, Indigenous, people of color, leaders, and we're going to start off this event with Robin Tyler. Robin Tyler is a lesbian and feminist icon and a pioneer in the grassroots struggle for LGBTQIA+ civil rights. Robin and her late wife, Diane Olsen, became heroes to many when, in February 2011, after they'd been together for 9 years, they turned their personal fight to marry into a public case and demanded of the county of Los Angeles the right to marry. And they were the first lesbian plaintiffs in a California Supreme Court lawsuit that challenged the ban on same-sex marriage. Tyler, etc., the County of LA. The suit became a crucial part of the new civil rights movement of this century, one of the starting points of what some have called the second Stonewall, and granted equal marriage rights to same-sex couples in California. After a successful win, Robin and Diane were the first to receive their marriage license in the state. Robin is a comedian, producer, columnist, and is famous for her presentation of Always a Bridesmaid, Never a Groom, the first lesbian stand-up comic on national television. She produced the first international gay comedy festival, which took place in Sydney, Australia, in conjunction with Sydney Gay Mardi Gras in '94. She presented with the first Outlaugh Festival Award at the Comedy Store for being the first lesbian or gay comic to come out on stage, in recordings, and in television. Please give it up for Robin Tyler.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really, really honored to be here today. I'm also, on one hand, like I want to be really up because I'm a comic, et cetera, but I'm really angry too. And I'm not angry. Some of my anger is relieved because everybody's marching, Black, white, straight, gay, brown, for Black Lives Matter. But we have to go back to understanding that nothing is going to change unless Black people are in power. And in power, I mean in politics. And everybody that gets out there, especially in the city of West Hollywood, I'm sure they're marching against racism, and I'm sure that the city council is against racism. But meanwhile, there is not one lesbian, and there hasn't been for decades and decades, serving on the West Hollywood City Council. And certainly there is not a woman of color ever, I believe, serving on the West Hollywood City Council. The trouble with power is it's never given. It has to be taken. I would like to be able to reason with the West Hollywood City Council and say, of course, if you want Black lives to matter, you have to include Black lives on the City Council. Seppi Shine is enormously qualified to do this. She is an attorney, she's progressive, she's fun, she's a lesbian, but she's also, she has to, when everybody says welcome and we welcome you and everything, meanwhile you have a whole bunch of straight people standing in the way of saying, no, we need a lesbian on the City Council and we need a woman of color. It is time that we just stop giving rhetoric on the street to Black Lives Matter and start by making and including Black people in positions of power and in positions of decision-making and positions of politics. And that's why it is so very important that the West Hollywood City Council include Seppi Shine. I am behind her 100%, and I hope you will be too.
Thank you so much, Robin. And let me just say that I made a big old boo-boo. I should have just started off with Seppi Shine. Thank you, Robin, for your support and actually doing a better job at introing for Seppi than I did. So without further ado, let me do what we were here to do in the first place. Commissioner Seppi Shine is a proud Iranian-American business law attorney, small business owner, and civil rights advocate. She served the city of West Hollywood as an appointed business license commissioner and also served the County of Los Angeles as a member of the LA County Assessors Advisory Council. As an LGBTQ+, our acronym is very long, leader, She has led many boards and organizations over her nearly 20 years in West Hollywood, including as a past co-president of the LGBT Bar Association of Los Angeles. In addition to her public service commission roles, Seppi remains engaged in civil rights work throughout the region. Currently, she serves on the steering committee for the Human Rights Campaign LA as co-chair of political action and community engagement, and is a co-organizer of West Hollywood's Neighbors Helping Neighbors. As a candidate for West Hollywood City Council, Seppi looks forward to bringing the voice of the people to the dais. Her vision includes more transparency, responsible development, and prioritizing the quality of life for every resident in West Hollywood. The all-vote by mail election will be held on November 3rd, 2020. Seppi currently lives in Mid-City neighborhood of West Hollywood with her wife and their fur babies. Give it up for Seppi Shine.
Thank you, Dilo. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I want to thank all of you who are present today and have been our supporters for so long. I want to also thank all of our speakers. You're all incredible, and our MC Dilo for supporting us today, and my progressive team, my team at Progressive Solutions Consulting for their incredible support. I want to start off by having a moment of silence for George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Tony McDade, David McAtee, and all of the Black and brown people who were murdered this year. Thank you. This past month has been a dark stain on our nation's history. George Floyd was murdered in front of our eyes by officers who should have been there to protect and serve. We see time and time again injustice that happens in communities of color and happens in communities of ours, especially the transgender community, at the hands of police officers. The police who dedicate their lives to public safety are sworn to protect all of the public. There are incredible human beings among them who do their jobs with distinction, but we must be vigilant in rooting out the ones that abuse their power and perpetuate the systemic racism that has caused decades of fear, trauma, and harm to our Black and brown siblings. I stand in solidarity with our Black and brown siblings who are simply asking for the same opportunities to live life free from the fear of police brutality, just like anyone else. I stand with Black Lives Matter. Black trans lives matter. George Floyd didn't have to die. Ahmaud Arbery didn't have to die. Breonna Taylor didn't have to die. Tony McDade didn't have to die. David McAtee didn't have to die. Countless other Black lives, some whose names we know and whose we will never know, didn't have to die, including our Black and brown transgender siblings. As a queer woman of color who fled a war-torn country, I know all too well the violence that can happen when others, especially people in positions of power, view themselves as better than you. If we can stand together and celebrate the Stonewall riots, which turned the tide for LGBTQ people to begin to be recognized as human beings, then we can certainly accept these protests and ensure that they create the same change. I want to encourage everyone to make a clear distinction between the peaceful protesters who are hurting and need these moments of assembly to begin to heal, and those who are just using these gatherings to vandalize our community. These are not the same people. Every person in office needs to do more, including creating policies that ensure all Black and brown lives are protected. As a person running for office, I know that once I'm elected, I will have the responsibility to protect and serve everyone and not just the privileged. I am a proud Iranian American immigrant and proud resident of West Hollywood. I am an attorney, a small business owner, and a civil rights advocate. I serve as a commissioner in the city of West Hollywood and as an appointed member of the LA County Assessors Advisory Council, and I'm running for West Hollywood City Council. When I was 20 years old, my girlfriend and I were at a gay-friendly coffee shop, and the management had changed. We were sitting in the back patio, holding hands, just talking, and the next thing we knew, the manager and a police officer were standing above us. The police officer looked down and said, "You two need to get up and leave. The management doesn't want your kind in this establishment." We got up and left, and we were in tears. We felt powerless. Later that day, I told my girlfriend that we need to go to law school, learn the law, and stop that from happening to others. I am no stranger to injustice, and my life experiences have propelled me to always fight for others and for what is right. The time to elect leaders who do what is right is now. I am running to be the first woman of color elected to West Hollywood City Council, the second lesbian ever elected, and the first out LGBTQ Iranian American elected to public office anywhere in the world. I am running because the residents of West Hollywood deserve a council member that prioritizes the interests of all of our residents before big developers. Gentrification and economic displacement have turned our inclusive village to a city which is hard to recognize. We have lost too many historic buildings, lost safe spaces for women, lost residents who can't afford to live here, and there's barriers to even being able to move here. We've lost small businesses that have been here for decades. The cost of living here continues to rise, as do the number of people who have become homeless. The detrimental safety and economic effects of COVID-19 will have impacted and will impact West Hollywood for the foreseeable future. And our residents and businesses have also been affected and will continue to get affected. We need new leaders who will prioritize our residents and help revitalize our economy by making the right decisions which take into account and focus on all of our residents and neighborhoods. The time to elect leaders who do what is right is now. The time for the merging of economic justice, social justice, and climate justice is now. I am running because I will be the leader that will bring back the people's voices to City Hall, bring hope back to our residents, help revitalize our economy, and I'm not taking a single penny from developers. I am running because it is our time to shine. My election is November 3rd, 2020, and with your continued support, we will shine.
Thank you, Seppi. Now I want to introduce our next speaker, Blossom Brown. Blossom Brown is an actress, producer, now writer, motivational speaker, and activist. She is originally from the birthplace of blues in Greenwood, Mississippi. She got her degree in public health education from Mississippi University for Women, where she became the first openly Black trans woman to graduate. Her story got the world's attention when she appeared in season 1 of Caitlyn Jenner's docuseries, I Am Kate, and for her appearance on The Ellen Show in season 13. She currently lives in Los Angeles and works at a nonprofit as a prep retention navigator, and is currently working on upcoming projects and living her best life. Give it up for Blossom Brown.
Hello, everybody. Hello, my brothers, my sisters, and my siblings. Let me start off by saying that without Black trans people, there is no Black movement. Without Black trans people, there is no Black movement. Without Marsha P. Johnson, there is no Black movement. And until the Black movement recognizes that all Black lives matter, we have no Black movement. So let me first off by saying that. I am so humbled and I am so grateful to be in this space amongst many of you. As I look at what's going on in the world right now, we are in a place of disruption. We are definitely in a place of disruption. And we are also in what I feel is the new Jim Crow. What do I mean by that? Where we're still seeing lynching now masqueraded under the disguise of police brutality.
Mm.
Once upon a time, it used to be rope around my neck. Now your knee is on my neck and I can't breathe. That's lynching. People still feeling left out of the movement. So we're having separate but equal protests
Mm.
to make everybody feel included. I really want to make sure I remind people of the world that we're living in right now. But I do see change. When it comes to West Hollywood, as a Black trans person, the one thing that I would love to see change is how my people, my trans community walked into these nightclubs in West Hollywood.
Mm.
Almost a year ago, me and two of my Black trans sisters were victims of violence, where a white man decided to lay hands on my sister, and I defended my sister, and I ended up hitting him in his face, in which he threw a drink on me and tried to throw a chair and hit me with it, and we fought. But don't worry, I got scabbed very easily, no worries. But at the same time, what if I not have been? What if he had done something to me? And what I don't understand is at this particular night bar, security wasn't there. Like no one cared. No one cared. I walked out of there bleeding, stuff all over my dress. It was a horrible night, but I knew it would lay down a foundation for change. 2020 in numerology reduces to the number 4, which talks about hard work, pragmatism, and foundations. Ironically, 2021 reduces to the number 5, which talks about challenge, change, and freedom. Everyone, we are laying down the foundation for change as we speak. Let me repeat that. We are laying down the foundation for change as we speak. My dear friend Seppi, I think she is the power of what change can be in West Hollywood. And we must do everything that we can to elect her. She is a powerhouse. She will defend trans rights like there's no tomorrow. And we need leadership like that. We need power. We need abundance. We need prosperity. We need these things now. And I do think that my dear sister, my dear friend Seppi will be able to lead the way. And I humbly charge you to continue to support her, to continue to support this movement, because we are all in this together. Every single one of us has a part. Whether you are an accomplice, whether you are of the disenfranchised community, everybody plays a part. Accomplices, let's step it up even more. You're already doing the great work. Let's step it up. And I know Seppi is an amazing accomplice that's about to step it up. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Blossom. Now I want to introduce Lucky Alexander. Lucky is the founder of Invisible Men and is a trans man who is an advocate of exacting change that builds bridges within the LGBTQI community and creates resources and support around transmasculine folks and trans parents. He is the community outreach liaison for Alpha Omega Nu Fraternity Incorporated, a fraternity for trans men. He's a member of Los Angeles County Transgender Advisory Council, CHIPTS CAB member, HIV commissioner, and a proud member and historian of the Brown Boy Project, and the director of career programs at Trans Can Work. He also holds degrees in computer science, math, and culinary arts, and is currently working towards a BA in psychology. Lucky is a dedicated member of the community and a father, raising 4 children to be open-minded free thinkers and lovers of gummy bears. Please give it up for Lucky.
Thank you, Dilo. I appreciate that. I want to definitely appreciate Seppi for inviting me into this space. I think this is a great platform for folks to be able to say what they need to say, right? So I think with everything going on and all of the different things that are happening in our world, Seppi is definitely going to be one of those people that is going to promote change. Is going to be able to set things in motion and is aware enough of all of the things that are going on. And because she does come from a place of understanding, because she's been in these situations, she comes from a place of understanding what this looks like for us, because she is one of us. I appreciate Seppi in a very different kind of way than my sister Blossom does, because she stepped up and made a way for trans men to be visible in a way that we're not visible in very many other spaces. And so I appreciate Seppi for that. And I know that as a person, she understands what it looks like for people. She has a heart for people. And so that's why she gets my support 100%, because on a personal level, she has a genuine love for people. She has a genuine love for the right thing. What is the right thing to do? Not what is politically correct, not what is the popular opinion. Seppi is about what's right. What is it? What does our people need, and how do we make that change in order to get it done? She's a warrior, she's a soldier, and she's got my 100% support around everything that is necessary to move this movement, especially in West Hollywood. West Hollywood has historically been very racist, very not welcoming to not just Black people, but our trans community as well. And Seppi not being trans and being so supportive of the trans agenda, she's got my vote 100%. And I hope that the rest of you can see that she is here for people, not just a specific demographic of people, but she's here for people equally and across the board and very genuinely. Seppi, I love you to death, and I'm here for you. You let me know what we need to do, and we as a community can help you help us. Thank you.
Love you,
Thank
Lucky.
you so much, Lucky. Appreciate your words. Next up, I want to introduce Alana Roche. Alana is an award-winning intersectional feminist. You know what? I messed it up again. Let's go back. There was a little switcheroo. I'm actually going to introduce Bambi Salcedo. Bambi is a national and international transgender Latina woman who received her master's degree in Latinx studies from Cal State LA. Bambi is the president and CEO of the Trans Latina Coalition, a national organization that focuses on addressing the issues of transgender Latinas in the US. Bambi developed the Center for Violence Protection and Transgender Wellness, a multi-purpose, multi-service space for trans people in LA. Bambi's remarkable and wide-ranging activist work has brought voice and visibility to not only the trans community, but also to the multiple overlapping communities and issues that her life has touched, including migration, HIV, youth, LGBT folks, incarceration, and Latina communities. Bambi has been featured and recognized in multiple media outlets such as People en Español, Latina Magazine, Cosmopolitan, the Los Angeles Times, Los Angeles Magazine, Out 100, and featured in the HBO documentary, The Trans List, among many others. Bambi has also been recognized for her outstanding work by multiple national and local organizations. Please give it up for Bambi.
Greetings, siblings. Thank you so much, Dilo, for that introduction. And thank you, Seppi, for giving me the opportunity to share space and stage, or share virtual stage with such a beautiful and amazing people. I also want to honor those of you who are joining us today to this such an important event to support Seppi in her election for city council for the city of West Hollywood. You know, everything that is going on right now in the world, it's really sad to me, but at the same time, I'm very hopeful of the changes that are going to happen. And the changes that are going to happen are coming from the grassroots, right? And it's important that we understand that. Seppi, in her opening remarks, just said that she's not getting money from developers. And so her fundraising is at the grassroots level. And it's important that we, as a community, support the leadership of people of color. Seppi is an Iranian woman of color who is running on principles, right? On principles of really, how could I say, destroying, right, the injustices that we experience as people. And so I personally, I'm going to make a contribution today, and I want to encourage for all of you to do the same. It is important that we elect Seppi Shine into office. And so I thank you for being here. I thank you for spending part of your time of your Sunday with us. And I appreciate so much if you can commit into making a contribution to Seppi Shine's running for City Council. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bambi. Seppi, I'm putting you back in right now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bambi. Love you. Love all of you who spoke and appreciate you. I just want to recognize Lisa Bloom, and is on the call with two of her transgender clients of color who you all may have seen this last year. I remember the videos, but there was a discrimination against 3 transgender women of color and a gay man at Las Perlas restaurant last year in downtown LA Pride. Well, Lisa, who is a champion of justice, is representing the 3 transgender women of color, and 2 of them are on with us today. I want to acknowledge you all. Jennifer Bianchi, thank you for being here, and Chloe Rios as well. And thank you for standing for justice, and we will all support you in attaining that.
Thanks, Seppi, and thank you for all your work, everyone. I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Alana Roche, back on track. Alana is an award-winning intersectional feminist. She empowers members of historically marginalized communities to find their power. She's currently co-chair of the Lesbian and Gay Advisory Board for the City of West Hollywood and has served on a variety of nonprofit committees. Her extensive training in codependency, adult attachment styles, nonviolent effective communication, and peace building has largely contributed to her curriculum. Further training and experience has been in diversity, equity, and inclusion, which encompasses gender inclusivity training with Trans Can Work, the CCEJ Foundations of Restorative Practices in Communities, CCEJ Healing Harms, Restorative Justice Practices. She is also the co-creator and co-host of the Consciousness Salon podcast and a small business owner of The Boundary Boss. Please give it up for Alana.
Thank you so much. I am really overwhelmed because it's been a really long month. So I just want to first start by thanking Seppi's commitment to not taking developers' money. That is a really bold move to make as a leader in West Hollywood. As you might know, that position can be compromised when your pockets are being filled by folks with that much power. So I'm so moved by Seppi. Her leadership, she's one of the most compassionate leaders I know. And that is what the city is missing. That is really what is missing all around this country, as we can see in our administration. But as far as West Hollywood is concerned, she is a woman who stands not only with the LGBTQ community and also for renters and also for small businesses, but bottom line, she also understands systemic racism. She also has that intersectional lens as well. It's one of the reasons why her and I have been able to have deeper conversations and more meaningful conversations about this. And let's be real, our current city council is majority white. I'm just going to call it out. It is. And it's a reflection of the decisions this community has made in the past. And I am asking all of you to stand in solidarity with those of us who are people of color, regardless if we actually live in the city. And by the way, 5% of the community of West Hollywood is Black, as of, let me be clear, as of 2016 census. And I just want to ask, why do you think that is? Why do you think the community of West Hollywood represents only 5% of Black folks? These are questions we need to start asking ourselves. We need to understand why our city has these types of numbers, these demographics. So I encourage all of you, please, it starts with our leadership, like Robin mentioned. It starts by electing individuals and compassionate leaders with an intersectional lens to be in these positions of power to help elevate our voices. Because 5% isn't cutting it. If folks of color don't feel safe in this city, or maybe they can't afford to live in this city, why aren't we looking at that? And why haven't we been looking at that? And maybe we have, but the results still remain the same. Status quo is not cutting it. So I ask all of you, thank you so much. Vote for Sepi Shine and please donate.
Thank you so much, Alana. Thank you. Next up, our next speaker is Arya Marvazi. Born and raised in Los Angeles, Arya earned his BA in psychology at UC San Diego and a master's in organizational behavior from NYU. In 2015, he returned to LA after 10 years between San Diego, Tel Aviv, and DC, encouraged by his ability to fully come out as a gay man to his family. Soon after, Arya began a body of work he had dreamt of, advocating for the full equality of LGBTQ+ people and community. 12 years into his nonprofit career, he currently serves as the managing director of JQ, an LGBTQ+ and Jewish organization focused on education, outreach, and support in service of inclusion and equality for all. In 2017, Arya launched the JQ Persian Pride Fellowship, an interfaith LGBTQ+ and ally initiative training for the next generation of leaders. His dedication to the Jewish and LGBTQ+ communities earned him a spot on LA Jewish Journal's 30 Under 30 list, Iran Wire's 50 Iranian Americans You Should Know, and most recently, the 2019 J-Pro Young Professional Award. Please, everybody, welcome Arya.
Hi everyone, my name is Arya Marvazi and I am so eager and grateful to be here today in support of Sepi Shine for West Hollywood City Council. I came to know Sepi a little over 2 years ago as I am the managing director of West Hollywood-based nonprofit JQ International, which stands for Jewish Queers. And I quickly came to know Sepi as one of the most impassioned bridge builders that I have ever met. Of course, our pool of Iranian queer activists is quite small, and it's been incredible to have her in our midst, speaking on our panels, joining our events, and supporting all of the Persian Pride efforts at our organization. But of course, Sepi's track record goes far more broadly than just the Iranian queer experience. I know that you have worked for women's rights, queer rights, workers' rights, renters' rights, everyone that you can support and uplift the equality of, you do that with the conviction of a lawyer, the passion of an activist, and of course the justice-inspired drive of a community organizer. I think now in this moment, in this city and in this nation, we need more impassioned, brilliant, wise, Black, brown, and other women of color. And Sepi, you bring such hope to that space. I've heard your ideas of starting a multicultural advisory board that would be advising City Council on social equity policies, which I think is really spot on for what our community needs today. Of course, responding to this moment and the long haul of justice reform, I know that you have the idea of training all city and staff officials on systemic racism with Dr. D'Angelo. By and large, I consider you to be an individual for the people, and I support all of your passion-driven work to make West Hollywood and, of course, the broader city of Los Angeles as wonderful as it can be. Thank you, Sepi, for your leadership, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, Arya. Thank you so much. Our next speaker is Sandy Bass. Sandy is a proud resident of West Hollywood, and he has volunteered within the Human Rights Campaign since 2013. He currently holds the position of Steering Committee Co-Chair of HRC LA and sits on HRC's National Board of Governors as Governor Engagement Co-Chair. Professionally, Sandy is the social media manager at JJLA and a digital media consultant for NBC Universal. Outside of work, Sandy is an active member of Varsity Gay League and WeHo Dodgeball, and his advocacy for the Black community has been amplified with the latest events surrounding the Black Lives Matter movement. Everyone, please give it up for Sandy.
Thank you for the introduction, Dilo. And I just wanted to say thank you, Seppi, for having me join such a strong and powerful group of individuals across the board. Like many of you, this has been very challenging and difficult with these given times from the health pandemic to where we are right now with this very powerful uprising of the Black Lives Matter movement. And I just wanted to say before I dove into anything else, like, know that you as an individual is valued, you're loved and supported. And that's especially the case with Seppi. Since I've met Seppi a few years ago through HRC, there's two words that really stand out that I think everyone else that have spoke so far really defines Seppi as through her actions, and it's passion and compassion. So just looking at those definitions, first up is passion, strong and bearable, barely a controllable emotion. I think this is like the time where that's really happening across the board. It's really hard and challenging for you to just like formulate your thoughts as well as to come across as perfect without being censoring, as well as shutting others down, as well as clearly conveying your point and how you're feeling or expressing. And what I've found over the last few weeks is that what you say isn't always going to be perfect. As someone who likes to be considered a perfectionist and likes to craft the perfect meaning or definition or post, especially when posting on social channels, sometimes you're not going to. Sometimes you're going to make mistakes. Sometimes you're not going to say what's right. Sometimes you're going to say things that don't align with other people's views and values. But with this movement, it's important to know that there is only one right side. There is a side that you're actually being compassionate to other people, which brings to the next definition. The fact that, yes, all lives matter, that's very valid, and it's needed. And hopefully we can get into a direction where that's the truth someday. But right now, that's not the case. Right now, there's a specific community that is hurting, and even a more specific sub-community, and that's the Black lives community, as well as the Black transgender lives community that are often being ignored and dismissed. And I am so happy through all this like pain, anger, and just like, resentment and uncertainty that this conversation is finally starting to happen. And it's bringing these really powerful conversations that are really tough to have with people you love, people you don't know, but they're conversations that are valuable and they're pushing us in the right direction. The second definition, as we talked about, is compassion, which I think also resonates with Seppi, is sympathetic concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others. Through all of this adversity that the Black community is facing right now, it's especially important to know that there are allies and people in our corner and people that really want to speak up for you, especially provide voices for the voiceless. So Seppi is one of the strongest allies I know. Something that she just does a fantastic job at doing is like, if you just need to take a breath and just recenter yourself and just stop in the craziness of the day-to-day, Seppi will allow you to have that clear headspace, allow you to breathe, and also offer you an opportunity just to speak freely and also offer advice and guidance. I think she would do a fantastic in this area too, once she is elected as West Hollywood City Council member. And I'm proud to support her. I know that everyone on this call is already supporters and fans of Seppi. And it's just nice to know that we're all coming together for a common cause. And the biggest thing that I really want to empower people to do is like, don't remain silent. That's the biggest thing that we've all been guilty of, is speaking selectively, something that hits very close to home. That's when you're finally like pushed to. The time to be quiet is over. Voices need to be heard right now. And Seppi is giving the voice to the voiceless, as I said before. So whatever you can do, please continue to support Seppi. And Seppi, know that I have your back and I'm here for you 100%. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Sandy. And I'm going to bring back Melat Rafie back. She is the lead consultant on Seppi's campaign.
Thank you so much, everyone. Everyone was so inspiring, and we're following the work that you've all done, and we're so grateful for your support of CEPI. What does campaigning look like in COVID? We're home instead of hanging out brunching on a Sunday at a campaign fundraiser. So it's going to be very similar to this. We are going to need the same amount of money, just redirecting it. Instead of paying for canvassers to knock on doors, we're going to need to be able to pay for text messaging, digital, and direct mail to every high propensity voter, making sure that every voter hears the message that you guys are also excited about to make sure that they vote for CEPI. And election day has changed. It's really not in November, it's in October. Every voter in California will get a mail-in ballot on October 5th. So we have to use our resources, front load them before then to make sure that the voters have heard from CEPI. I'm sure there'll be candidate interviews like this and forums similar to this where you can hear them, but you won't be able to see people in person. And those of you who know CEPI pre-COVID know that dynamic energy that comes with that. So we need your help to raise the funds, to make sure that we can somehow communicate that with the voters as we move forward. We'll need your help texting and phone banking to voters as we get closer. As we get closer to election day, we'll need you to give us some of your time and your treasure. We're going to ask for it. The campaign contribution limits are $1,000. So between now and election day, you can give us $1,000, and we'd be happy to take it. I'm going to let Corey talk more about our fundraising challenge and what we've raised to date and how you can keep helping us towards our June 30th deadline. Corey?
Thank you so much, Mel. I just wanted to thank everybody that was a part of today's conversation. As a queer person myself, I grew up in a rural part of California. I ran away, moved to Long Beach to be able to live a life as open as I possibly could, and to be in this space now and to understand. I try to talk about it as often as possible. My own personal privilege, being white, not knowing what so many of these issues entail, but really trying to turn my work as a political consultant and as a campaigner to electing amazing people like CEPI to office has really become kind of my work, my life's mission of making sure that we are putting people in place that represent our communities with the loudest voice possible to protect the most people. And one of the things that I often share when I talk, and I wanted to kind of build on what Alana was saying, that as a city, we have 5% African American population. But when we get down to actual registered voters who will have an opportunity to cast a ballot for CEPI, I want you guys to know that African American voters represent 1.3% of that vote. That is a huge, 5% as a population is already a huge issue. But then to drop that down to 1.3% within our community, within this one city, for this one vote for CEPI is a huge challenge. One of the other things I wanted to share collectively, right, as we talk about communities of color, whether you're API, Latino, or Black, collectively in West Hollywood, that represents 11% of the electorate. We have to make sure that everyone that we know that lives in West Hollywood is registered to vote, because we know that as a woman of color, CEPI will be their voice on the city council, and that we must ensure that we get as many folks registered to vote as possible. One other thing I wanted to share before I give you this fundraising challenge that we want to pose to you all today is that across LA County, LA County is one of the largest counties in the United States. Millions and millions of people in this county. I want you to know there are 458 elected officials at the local level in LA County across 88 cities. 458. Of those 458 city council members, county supervisors, school board members, only 9 of them are LGBTQ. Only 9. So across 88 cities, we only have 9 people. Only 4 of them are people of color. So I say all of that to say how important, how critical, how if there is anything we can do in this time when we talk about actions versus words, that electing CEPI is that action that we can take. And Melahat hit it on the head too. These campaigns are more expensive now. COVID has, CEPI and I haven't even met formally in person yet. We've only seen each other on Zoom calls since we started working on this campaign because of what COVID has done to our world, right? And so it is going to take more money for us to be able to do what we can do. So the challenge that we are posing to everybody on this call today is to take a pledge to donate another $25, the cost of our ticket for this individual event, to donate another $25 to this campaign before our big report on June 30th. So I've unlocked the chat within the Zoom meeting. So if you want to take that pledge with us and you want to donate another $25, I'm of course going to be doing that out of my own personal money too, because I believe that Seppi is exactly who we need on this West Hollywood City Council. We want you to put your comment in the chat box. We want to make sure that we can, with everybody here, we could double the amount of money that we have raised for this event. We have raised $2,500 so far for this event. We can take it to $5,000 if each one of us on this call right now can give us another $25 before June 30th. And again, I want to say June 30th is an important deadline. One of the things that happens in campaigning, I think, is that you guys have all seen every deadline has been moved. Your tax deadline has been moved. Everything has been kind of put out a little bit further. This fundraising deadline for us hasn't moved. And so June 30th for Seppi will be the only, and again, I want to reiterate, the only opportunity for Seppi from a financial perspective, a woman who is sticking to her convictions and not taking that developer money, who she will have one shot of showing everybody in this race why she's viable financially, showing everybody in this race why she deserves a seat at that city council. So I want to just kick it back real quick to Seppi. I see a lot of pledges coming in. I know you want to thank a few people for that as well. But again, thank you all for being here. This is fantastic. You guys are doing such amazing work in the community, and I'm just so honored to be a part of this team.
Well, first of all, I'm so humbled, and I appreciate, I have so much gratitude right now for all of you that are here, all of our incredible, beautiful speakers who are leaders in the community, who are activists, who've been activists for decades and in the fight and stand strong and often risk your lives to speak up, literally risking your lives to speak up. And I'm right there with you, and I will be. And I don't take your support lightly. It's a strong responsibility, and we have a lot of work to do. And thank you so much. It's like Las Vegas right now. All these pledges, I love it. It's so exciting. Really, really, really appreciate you all. I want to also acknowledge my wife, Ashley. I have so much gratitude for you, Ashley. You have stood strong by me. Today has been a difficult day for our family, and I want to take a moment to send blessings. Ashley's uncle, Jimmy QB, passed today as a result of gross negligence and medical racism. So while we fight for justice from police brutality, systemic racism causes harm to the Black community on so many levels. And despite Uncle Jimmy's passing, Ashley still is here standing by me. And I love you so much, and I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Seppi. And Dilo, I think we'll bring you back on to close us out. I want to say that we are right on time, and I want to just again acknowledge and thank everybody who was a part of this event today, to work hard to make Seppi our next council member. We want to take her from commissioner to council member. And again, we posted the donation link in the chat. I'm going to also post our website link, which is seppishine.com, not hard to remember. But I do want to, before we bring Dilo back, just remind everybody how important volunteering is also going to be. That this right here, where this space that we've created right here is also going to be our campaign office. This is where we're going to be doing text meetings, where we're going to just be sitting together on a Zoom meeting. Everybody grab your favorite cocktail, your favorite dinner meal, and we're going to be texting voters, and we're going to be phone calling voters. And this virtual space is going to become that campaign office. So donate to the link that we published, sign up to volunteer at our website, seppishine.com. And with that, I want to bring Dilo back to close us out for the day.
I wanted to thank everyone on behalf of the team. Thank you to Robin, to Blossom, to Bambi, to Lucky, to Alana, to Sandy, to Aria, to everybody who's on SEPI's campaign team, and to SEPI herself for being relentless in trying to do the best damn job representing her community.
And thank you.
And thank you to everyone who spoke so passionately about the causes and everything that we need to do to fight. I'm sending all the love also as well to everybody who joined in on the call. Thank you for supporting all of us. And with that, I will say goodbye unless somebody else has something else to say or there's some other plug. Thank you.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Good night. Good day. And
good night, good afternoon.
Good night, good day, good week.
Love you all.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
Seppi.
you.
3:30. Thank you.
So we're not staying on. We're going, right?
I mean, you can stay on as long as you want.
I didn't know if there was anything else we needed to do.
No, you're good. Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you,
right, I
Lucky.
appreciate that. You're very welcome.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you as well.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you for being here, and thank you for standing for justice.
Anytime.
Massa, thank you for tuning in from Turkey.
Thank you so much
Awesome.
for being here, and good luck.
Thank you. Really appreciate you tuning in. Corbuna. Okay, merci. Hi, Chloe. Thank you for being here.
One sec. Got it. Hold on, let me unmute Mel.
Good job, Corey.
Yeah, great job. Look at the 46 chat. So we can take a screenshot and follow up with people.
Yeah. This meeting, well, hold on, let me stop recording.